This podcast discusses paranormal activity and other topics some might find disturbing. Listener discretion is advised.
Is it a chill or a ghostly breeze? A knock, a tap, what do you believe? Ghosts, gossip, gather around where the lost and the haunted are found. Ghosts, gossip, don't make a sound. Truth or tales, we'll dig it out.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Ghost Gossip. Should I start doing that? Just probably not. No, probably not. Not at all. Anywho, today's episode we have a special guest. She is charming. She is amazing. She is a witch and a psychic medium. And I am obsessed with psychic mediums lately. I think because I relate so much to them and I'm learning from them. And so I love listening to them. I love talking to them. And so like this month, it's heavy on the psychic mediums, okay? And I did that on purpose because this is what I wanted to do. So if you have any suggestions, y'all let me know. I am always here to listen to suggestions. I am going to go start on a deep dive where I'm almost done with my interviews, and starting the fall, I'm going to be diving deep into locations again. But today we have Savannah, that witch up the holler. So I hope you enjoy. Before we keep going, remember to subscribe. Subscribing is free. You can subscribe on YouTube for absolutely $0. Dull hairs, nothing, zilch, zero, nothing. So I know sometimes you might think subscribe like Netflix. No, dear. You're just subscribing so that way you see my content in your feed. That's all. You can subscribe for free on Spotify, Apple, Amazon, and YouTube, or wherever you get your podcast. I'm also all over social media. If y'all have a ghost story you want to share, send that to ghostgossip247@gmail.com. And I also have a Reddit page where if you feel like you have a story but you want to send anonymously, I have a Reddit sub-page. Is that what they're called? Please go post there because I'm feeling kind of lonely out there, okay? I'm the only one that's posting in there. So y'all come be friends with me on Reddit, okay? You be my friend on Reddit? Yes, please do that. And where else? I have a Patreon. I'm going to start working on bonus content. I really want to get to reading stories on like Reddit, and it's not just going to be paranormal stories. I love y'all are going to judge me. It's okay. I love reading other people's like crazy drama, like mother-in-law drama and like crazy wedding drama and just crazy things because it makes me feel like my life is kind of normal. So I want to start doing that on Reddit. With all that said, I hope you enjoyed today's episode. Welcome, Savannah, that witch up the holler. Hello, everybody, and welcome to a wonderful episode of Ghost Gossip. Today we have Savannah, that witch up the holler. Hi, Savannah.
Hey, how are y'all?
I'm good. How are you?
I am alive.
Same. It's been a day.
Indeed.
And it's only 9 a.m. where you are and 10 a.m. where I am, so we're in for a good day.
You know what? Maybe it can get better.
Well, the leaf blower just started going behind my head, so it looks like it's so if you hear a brah, that's all that is.
Let it go.
That's right.
It'll be fine.
So to get started, can you tell my listeners a little bit about yourself?
Sure. So I'm Savannah. I'm on TikTok as That Witch Up the Holler, or on Instagram at It's That Witch Up the Holler, because I don't know, I somehow messed up getting the same handle on both things. Whatever, pain in the butt, I don't care. So I talk about all things paranormal, high strangeness, Appalachian folklore and Appalachian folk magic. I talk about mediumship. I talk about what it was like to grow up in a Pentecostal home as a psychic kid and how I am raising my own psychic kids now, and just kind of run the gamut of all of the strange things.
So are you in the Appalachian Mountains or in that area?
Not anymore. That is where I'm from. I'm from southeastern Kentucky, southern West Virginia, and that's where all of my family is. Right now, I am stuck in Nebraska for the time being. So trying to make the best of that.
So how did you end up in Nebraska?
My husband is active duty Air Force. So
okay. Yep. All right. Well, that explains that. My mom is not anymore. Her father was in the army and they moved a lot of places. And I cannot remember. I think she was here last week and she was telling me about how the time that my grandpa got stationed in Kansas and all three of the daughters threw a fit because they were like,
What the
no,
hell is in Kansas?
there's nothing in Kansas. Now, I love Kansas. Don't get me wrong, but there's a bunch of haunted stuff in Kansas.
Yes.
So that's why I love Kansas. But he, I guess, made a phone call and he got put somewhere else. So go figure.
Sometimes you can do that. Most of the time, you're
Right. That's
get out
kind
of
of what
luck.
I was thinking. I was like, Mom, like, is that normal?
He must
or
have had some
common?"
rank.
He did. Yeah, he did. Yeah, he did. He was in the army for like, I think his whole life. I think he went in at like 3. I'm just kidding. Probably about 17 and worked his way up. But yeah, she was born in Kentucky, I believe. There's a base in Kentucky.
Yeah,
I don't
there
know.
is.
Anyway, I digress. So you mentioned growing up as a psychic in a Pentecostal church.
Mhm.
Let's talk about that. Sounds like a lot to unpack.
Yeah. And a lot of people get really confused when you get into Pentecostalism. And if people out there are not familiar with Pentecostal, charismatic, apostolic area of evangelical Christianity, that is your holy rollers running around the pews, speaking in tongues, being slain in the spirit. I come from a background. Well, it's not my background. My great grandparents and that generation were like snake handling Pentecostals.
I was going to ask snake handlers.
Yeah. Finally, by the time I got to like my dad's generation, we were allowed to wear pants. Not super
Wild
duper.
people over there.
I know.
Ooh.
But yeah, so was born into that. We had been Pentecostal for generations. You can only be Pentecostal for so many generations. It's a relatively new thing, honestly, like comparatively as far as Christianity is concerned. But Appalachian people have a very different relationship with death and the paranormal and spiritual gifts as compared to like Christians you're going to find in other parts of the country, especially like deep in the Bible Belt. It's just a thing. Like some people are born with certain gifts. I was born blue. I wasn't breathing. I was, like dead. They had to get the cord off and bring me back. And it's believed in Appalachian culture and some other cultures as well that when you're born blue, you're going to have some kind of gift, usually the gift of sight, being clairvoyant, clairaudient, that sort of thing. And I was. And the spooky things just started happening for my parents pretty much immediately after me being born. All of a sudden, there was stuff all around all the time, and they realized that I could see it, and I was talking to people and getting information that I shouldn't have. And since we were Appalachian, I think that really saved me there, because in a lot of other places, being Pentecostal, that would have been just straight up devilry. So saved my butt being from the hills.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I know a little. So I'm in the upstate of South Carolina. So we are at the Blue Ridge Mountains, which, feeds up into West Virginia and all that. So I've heard about Appalachia my whole life, but I don't know a whole lot about it. I know like you don't whistle at night if you hear your name being called. No, you didn't. And don't answer and stuff like that. Like, did you grow up hearing all that as well? I'm guessing so.
I did from my grandparents. My dad was also in the Air Force, and I grew up in South Carolina for the most part, actually. But I spent like 3 months a year with my grandparents back home. So they would, kind of pass down all of the little bits and pieces. And the thing about it is it's really blown out of proportion. The rules of Appalachia, like, yes, we all do. Most of us do know the rules, but it's a little blown out of proportion for the sake of the internet and,
of course,
it's fun to be the spooky thing in the woods and keep the normies out. I did grow up hearing that, but also I think, my papa probably just wanted us to shut up because he worked nights and we needed to be quiet so he could rest.
He's making up his own rules. He's like, oh, by the way, don't forget this one.
Yes. We had a very strict rule. Once the pole light came on outside, can't make any noise or the boogers are going to get you. So they're going to come out of the hills and get you.
With little red eyes like your shirt.
Yeah.
They're going to just come and get you.
Full Mothman. Yeah, no, so we grew up hearing that sort of thing, but it was, for the most part, it was pretty tongue-in-cheek. He taught us a lot about living by the signs, and like he would only plant his garden by the signs. which is how his daddy taught him. I guess he neglected to teach my father. We just skipped a generation. I got the information. Classic boomer stuff there.
You got that right. Hi, Mom. My mom's a boomer. They don't like to tell us anything.
They don't. I got lucky being, I'm a baby millennial with boomer grandparents, and they're better grandparents than they were parents, I think. Anyways,
That's a podcast for another day.
different topic. But yeah, no, we grew up hearing ghost stories and all the rest, and that was just normal. You know that the one cousin up the way that we called Bucket, he had the banshee would chase him out the holler on a regular basis. Don't go hang out with Bucket because the banshee's gonna get you. You go walking on the riverbank at night, you're gonna run into that old man that's gonna disappear the second you walk past him. We knew that there is something at my holler that nobody knows what it is. Still to this day, I tried to figure it out while we were living there in our camper for a few years. I still couldn't tell you what the thing is that lives up that holler. Different is different. Yeah, it's just kind of like a normal part of life. And it's not that everybody believes in it because everybody does not believe in it. Like my uncle thinks, we're full of shit for the most part, even though he definitely ran into something while we were playing hide and seek on the graveyard once that scared him bad enough he pulled a gun on it. But still,
Was he playing with Bucket?
Oh yeah, always.
He was hanging out with Bucket. That banshee went and got him.
But yeah, things are spooky, but it's not like, I think in some ways we've done a little bit of a disservice to Appalachia by harping too much on the cryptids and all that, because Appalachia is already very othered in general and incredibly misunderstood, and we kind of do make it worse by over exaggerating what's in the woods.
Gotcha. Yeah. I was talking to somebody not too long ago, and he's a Bigfoot researcher, and he's like, would you ever go? And I'm like, go where? I'm like, whoa, where? And he's like, into the woods. I'm like, at night? No, I would not go into the woods at night. No, not at this age. Maybe when I was younger and probably wasn't as sure of myself and just followed people. Now I'd be like, y'all have fun. Like when my husband wants to do something stupid, I'm like, make sure your life insurance is up to date and go have a good time.
Yes. No,
Yep.
I have a problem being out in the woods at night and kind of being one with. I would rather be the creepy thing hanging out in the woods and become the local legend myself.
Yeah. I'm okay being the creepy lady in the house that doesn't talk to anybody. Like I go outside and I see neighbors and I just like hiss at them and I go back in, and I'm in a neighborhood in the middle of like city limits. So yeah, I'm just like hissing at people. Yeah. If we just got to get through the next 4 years of high school, and then my husband and I are out of city limits. We are grin and bearing it for the sake of the school zone right now.
God, in South Carolina suburbs too, just soul sucking. Soul sucking. I feel for you.
It is. Yeah, the HOA is yeah, that's a horror story all on its own. My sister lives across the street, and so she went round and round with the HOA before I moved in, and then I moved in and they came at me, and they weren't used to my sister like coming back with logic. Like I came back with logic, and I worked for the court system for a long time, so like I read the HOA, and so I was like, blah 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 blah, and so they leave me alone.
Beautiful.
Yes. And I mean, I'm not doing anything. Like, I'm not out there with like my couch on my front lawn or anything. So I'm like, I'm not causing too much problems, But if I take my trailer out of my garage for a few hours, back off.
Yes. Ironically, that's what made us move off of base, was having a trailer in the driveway. And we're going to get fined and tow it. Well, okay, we're gone. I'm going to buy a house. I'm going to move out to the country. Yeah. We'll drive to the base. Forget this.
Yeah. We were looking for land and we had some stuff happen like all at one time. And I was like, the universe is telling us like, this is not the time, because one, we couldn't find anything, and everything that we did find, we were hitting obstacles. And I told my husband, I was like, obviously this is not the right time, then not the right move. We need to put that on hold, pivot. And that's what we did. And then everything fell into place. So I was like, we are where we're supposed to be. Grin and bear it. The kids, like I told you, we have all high schoolers as of this week. They're all done with middle school. They're all being high school.
Oh, man.
And yeah, so we are almost, there's an end in sight. There's an end for our neighborhood days in sight. And 4 years will really fly by.
Hopefully. Yeah. I hope so.
She's like, I hope for your sake that's true. But good luck with that.
I have at least 4 years left in Nebraska. So I'm like, 4 years.
Okay.
4 years.
It will fly by. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. I have a shirt. It's fine. It's fine. I'm fine. Everything's fine.
On fire in the background.
Yeah, pretty much. That's how it's a dumpster fire, but everything is fine. That's fine. So growing up as truly a baby medium, what was happening around you that your parents were noticing before you like clearly realized anything because you were little?
Hmm.
Like what was happening around you?
So I guess first was when I was like an infant, and we were living in this trailer up the holler, and I mean, my parent, I felt, no, I guess they hadn't been there. They moved in when I was a baby. But they would hear um, in the middle of the night a baby crying outside. And, that scared the hell out of them. They jump up, check on
Right.
me, see what's going on. And nope, it was just the baby crying outside. And there is like a whole legend up that holler of like Civil War era, a woman and her baby dying in a house fire while her husband was gone in the war. And it's always kind of been alleged that maybe she did it on purpose, maybe she like it started with that. All of a sudden they were experiencing spooky things, but the first like in their face thing was when I was probably like 1.5, 2 years old. I was a hyperverbal kid, hyperlexic kid. I started talking very, very young. We were living on base, on Shaw Air Force Base, in Old Lakes
Mhm.
housing that's not there anymore. And I would ask my mom about the Blue Man. And she's like, just probably just making, kids make stuff up. Kids have imaginary friends, whatever. And
Right.
I would go to the back door and wave. And like, who are you waving at? Waving at the Blue Man. Okay. Eventually she gets curious. Where is the Blue Man? Oh, he's on the other side of the fence. He waves at me. Okay. Well, as time progresses, I'm still talking to the Blue Man, but the Blue Man goes from being outside the fence to being inside the backyard. And I want to go play with the Blue Man, go play outside and babbling along, talking to the Blue Man. And eventually the Blue Man was not just in the backyard, he was at the door. Hey, Mommy, Blue Man's at the door. And she's like, this is getting uncomfortable. And then, and she said there was one night in particular that I woke up screaming, or I woke them up. I was screaming and just hysterical. And like, the Blue Man's in the closet. He wants me. The Blue Man's in my closet. He wants me.
God, that gave me chills
Yeah.
in a not good way.
Yeah.
Oof.
Yeah. And I always thought it was kind of ironic that, like, Air Force dress uniforms are blue, have always been blue.
Mhm.
So maybe that's all I could. He's the Blue Man. He's wearing his
He's blue.
dress
Yeah, he's wearing blue.
uniform. Yeah. So that was like the very first, like, in their face. Clearly, she's talking to something and it's interacting with her, and it's an entire.
It's getting closer.
Yeah. It just kind of never stopped. Just every house we moved to, there was something different, and you get that with base housing. I don't think I've ever lived in a military housing area that did not have some stuff going on. There's so much in and out,
Mhm.
Military housing is so just like inherently liminal, and it's just a place of constant transition. And you hang out with enough people in the military, that there's a lot of shit going on behind closed doors, and a lot of negative energy gets stored up in those houses.
Yeah, absolutely. And a lot of things happen behind those closed doors. Not good things that happen behind those closed doors. A lot of secrets sometimes.
Yes.
Yeah, I find that places that are constant have that constant moving energy in and out. It's, of course, there's going to be things that happen there, because whenever you're in a place and you leave it, you leave a part of yourself there, good or bad. Like, it's just.
Yep.
So did the Blue Man just stop showing up, or maybe
No, interestingly enough, the Blue Man stopped for a while, but then just randomly, usually during times of like extreme stress or transition in my life, it would just pop back up. Yeah. I don't know if it became some type of spirit guide situation at that point or what. I don't know. But in any times of like extreme turmoil or like big events, the Blue Man would show back up. I haven't seen the Blue Man since I was like 21, so probably about a decade now. But yeah, it would just be periodically.
Wow. My grandparents are always with me, but I know who they are. I don't see them, though. I feel them. I can feel them. I don't see people, though. I've seen one. It was really weird in my living room. I don't know who she was. She kind of looked like Berta back here, except she had a white dress on and her hair was messed up. what was funny is I was having an interview with Jill Shelley, who is the owner of the haunted Boyd House in Wisconsin. No, not Wisconsin. I can't remember. It's one of the M states. And Wisconsin is not M. I know that. It's a W. I'm aware. But up there somewhere, her husband had seen a female apparition in his house or in the Boyd house, and she had like hair down to here, kind of like disheveled a little bit with a white dress. And so I saw something very similar just a few days before my interview with Jill. And I started to wonder after I talked to her, was the apparition at the Boyd house, did she just pop in to visit me just to be like, let me check this person out first? I don't know.
That happens with me with readings.
Really?
Yeah, if I have, it's not all the time. It's just when spirit is incredibly adamant about like getting something across. Like
they're a little impatient at times.
I try to like schedule them out so I know who I'm going to be reading each day. Sometimes the night before, somebody will show up and be like, hey, can you say this? Hey, can you wait until your time slot? Dang. can I sleep first and then you can talk to me tomorrow? But yeah, no, sometimes they do show up in advance when you're like going to be connecting with somebody.
That's crazy. I don't do readings because I'm not confident in my stuff. I don't know what I just have weird stuff happen, but I had something in my room the other night. They love to wake me up. Whatever it is, they love to wake me up. And I had a psychic tell me years ago when I first started getting into the paranormal, they talk to you in your sleep.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, I really wish they wouldn't because I am an insomniac.
I'm
and so I'm trying to sleep here. I'm awake all day long. Can you not send me messages when in my waking hours, please? Stop waking me up. As you got into your mediumship and your psychic mediumship, sorry, brain fart. Are you a psychic medium or psychic or?
I have a really hard time putting a label on what it is that I do because also like as time progresses, my giftings change, they shift. Things just change. The phase of life that I'm in kind of determines how these gifts are going to. It's easier to say medium, but yeah, no, I don't know.
I get it.
Yeah, it's hard to label it.
Yeah, I tell people I don't like giving myself a label because with labels come expectations, and I'm gonna disappoint the shit out of you. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like my daughter's like, what am I thinking? I'm like,
It works that
doesn't
way.
work that way. It's not a parlor trick.
Except
Sometimes
for when
you
it
just
is,
know
and
shit.
that's crazy. Notice
Right?
my youngest child tends to know what I'm thinking and say things that I'm thinking out loud, and that has been shaking me up lately. I'm like, we got to put up a wall here, sir. Like this is intrusive. You can't be doing all that.
I can hear people's thoughts too. Not everybody, but I can as well. And I try not to because I know it's intrusive. But sometimes I don't even know that I'm doing it. Like I hear thoughts and I think they are mine. And so I say them out loud. And then like it really happens with my daughters the most. And they're like, I was just thinking that. I'm like, oh, it was your thought. Okay. I was wondering where that came from. Yeah. I definitely try not to. I know it is intrusive. Do you ever, like when you were starting, did you ever have an issue trying to decipher if it was like intuition or anxiety?
Oh yeah. I still get messed up sometimes because I have CPTSD. So hypervigilance and being able to like determine are you being hypervigilant and are you being paranoid right now, or is something different going on? And I've had to learn that I feel it in my body in different places. If I'm, if this is just anxiety, if this is just PTSD, I'm getting it in my chest. I'm feeling in my chest. When it's intuition, I feel it in my gut. If it's a message, I feel it in my head. So yeah, trying to line up like somatically what is going on with the emotional and spiritual aspect of it does help.
That's awesome. That's good to know because I've always tried, as myself, I'm just trying to figure out like because I'm very anxious all the time. I'm an anxious person. I have very bad anxiety at times. And sometimes I'm like, maybe it's just anxiety. Maybe it's just I'm worrying too much. I'm overthinking. So that's good to know where it's coming from.
Yeah. Tuning into your body does help. It takes practice and it takes time to decipher that.
Yeah, I can see that. Just like anything else, but definitely, especially if you don't trust yourself. Like I don't always trust myself.
That's a hard thing to learn too.
Yes, that has been hard. And that's just with everything. As I've gotten older, it gets easier because that's just maturity. And then also I'm just tired. Just like, meh, I'm tired of worrying about certain things. But yeah, one thing that I really enjoy about your content is you mentioned it earlier, is like planting by the signs
Mhm.
and your kitchen witching.
Mhm.
Like, I love that. Can we talk a little bit about, let's just start with like the planting by the signs. So some of my followers, they might not understand or realize what that means. Can you explain that? Like, we're all five.
Sure. Okay. The old timers across many different cultures, but especially Appalachian and Southern cultures they would do everything by the signs. And when I say by the signs, I'm referring to what astrological sign the moon is in on any given day. And that changes every couple of days. The moon, moves into a different sign every couple of days. And with the zodiac, with the 12 signs of the zodiac, each sign governs a specific body part. So you like start at the top with Aries is the head and goes all the way down, and Pisces is the feet. So we might say something like, we can't do any planting because the signs are in the head, and that is a death sign. You can't do any canning when the signs are in the boughs, or especially kraut, because it'll stink. It'll be bad. There's over generations and generations, they came out with, they tracked the signs in the sky and applied that to different areas of life. Most commonly, most people know about planting. So there's certain signs that are very, very favorable for planting. There's certain signs you just don't plant during. The general rule of thumb is that if the moon is in a fire or an air sign, we don't plant. It's just going to burn up. It's not going to work. And then you want to wait for like an earth or a water sign. And then there's certain signs where you only plant certain things, and you can get real nitpicky with it. And I try to not be super dogmatic about it. I used to be, and then I wasn't getting anything done because I was paranoid. And like, well, that's dumb. That's too much. But yeah, no, there's something very important to like when we're talking about living by the signs, is that these old timers, for the most part, were like devout Christians, right? That did not believe in astrology. No, I don't do that horoscope zodiac stuff. That's of the devil. But we can follow the signs put in the sky by God, because that's why he put them there. Okay, that's fine. Yeah.
Makes sense to me.
Yeah. Whatever we got to tell ourselves, right? So yeah, it's basically, I like it because it's just a way of, I feel more in tune following the signs and doing things by certain signs and in certain moon phases. Like as women naturally have a 28-day cycle, just like the moon. And so I feel more in tune with myself, even though I don't even have years anymore. Got rid of that shit. Feel more in tune with myself and with the earth and with the cosmos when I kind of just try to follow the signs and live very cyclically. I don't know. It's grounding.
Yeah. I don't know much about astrology. I know I'm a Scorpio, and I tell people that, and they're like, ugh. I'm like, listen, stop. I'm really nice. I'm a nice Scorpio. I'll read you for filth if I need to, but I try not to because I am a kind person sometimes until I'm not. So, but isn't that everybody though? Like for the most part,
yes.
So your kitchen witching. So how did that start? Did that just start like on TikTok or social media? You were just doing something and shared something, and I love alliteration.
Yeah,
so.
Calling it kitchen witching, kitchen witchcraft is its own, whole subset of witchcraft. It's like home and hearth and kitchen witchery is its own like whole thing. But I just threw the tag on kitchen witching once on a playlist, and now every time I share something, any kind of witchcraft I am doing in my kitchen, that's kind of what it goes underneath.
Yeah, I just felt like a whole like group of my listeners go, oh! Like witchcraft. Oh my God, I didn't know this. I didn't know. Yeah. I just felt them all just kind of like, it's okay, everybody. It's okay.
Promise, it's okay. Good people.
Some people think cooking is also witchcraft. So like, it's okay. Okay, you're putting, it's fine. You're not going to hell for listening to today's episode. I promise.
Not sacrificing babies in the cauldron or anything like that. It's not that crazy.
No, absolutely not. No, do you get a lot of hate?
In the beginning, I did. And you found my block button real fast on socials. But interestingly enough, I actually have a very, very, very large following of Christians who, it may just be that they have questions. It may just be that, they're interested in. Sometimes I share about my own like deconstruction out of the faith. But for the most part, I don't know. I ignore the hate because there are enough Christians out there that are curious, and I like to try to show them that, hey, there's life on this side of things too. And
Mm-hmm.
not everything is evil or demonic or of the devil. And it's fine. And they like me. I don't know. They like me. So they stick around. And
Yeah. But you're great to watch. You're great to listen to, and you're very informative. Like you were talking about the almanac the other day, and then the planting by the signs. And I was like, I didn't realize, and maybe that's just my ignorance because I don't know much about the almanac. I haven't touched an almanac since I was in school and we learned about them. But like, I didn't realize that the almanac was using astrology or the signs. Like, I didn't know that. And so it's like, it's very informative. What you're sharing, it's like, and I love to learn. Like, it's when you're mindlessly scrolling sometimes,
Yeah.
it's like, oh, I can learn something.
yeah.
So I think it's great. Like, I really do. I don't get a lot of hate, which I really am. I'm also much smaller. Like, my socials are much smaller. So I'm like, I think that's why I don't get a lot of hate. I get some dumb comments, like people telling me my flashlight must be Bluetooth. And I'm like,
That's just a flashlight.
it's just a flashlight.
Just a flashlight.
I'm like, do you have a Bluetooth flashlight? Because
Is
that's
that a
badass
thing?
if you do. I didn't realize it was. If it was, like, my daughter is like my middle daughter, who is my birth daughter. She loves to tell me that what I believe is wrong. And I'm like, at this age, she's 14. She'll be 15 this year. I'm like,
She in
believe
youth
what you want to
group?
believe. No.
No. Well, dang. That's usually where those kids are coming from.
No, she goes to church every other Sunday with her stepmom, but no, because I'm not religious. I grew up Catholic, and the moment you hit 13 and you're confirmed and you can decide whether or not you want to continue, I was like, I'm out. I'm done. I don't like it. And it wasn't like the Bible. It wasn't what they were teaching. It was how people treated each other in the church. It was like, you're telling people you have to do all this stuff to be this, but y'all are all treating each other like that. This doesn't make sense to me. So, yeah, no. We tried to go to church. This is funny. We tried a church when we moved to an area when we first bought our house as a family of 5. We tried to go to a church. I hated that place. It gave me a headache. I felt like I was going to light into flames. I hated that place. I hated it. I was so uncomfortable sitting in just in that church and they just spew hate. And I was just like, this is not for me. This is not for me. And I know not all churches are like that. So settle down, everybody. Not every church is like that. And I'm aware of that. Just like not all witches are bad. Just like not all psychic mediums are bad. Just sit down. And not everything's demonic.
The biggest pet peeve of my life. No, when I was a teenager, because of the gifts that I was responsible for going to people's houses and doing cleansings and was a part of exorcisms and things. So I was very deeply entrenched in the, Lord dropped, sorry, into everything's a demon scene.
Oh my goodness. You were a teenager and you were
spiritually exploited, is what I like to say.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it was a bad time.
That's such a formative age and your brain's developing, and like it's so important that you have freedom, but you're not being exploited because you like that's the age that you're learning how to be treated.
Yeah.
I am so sorry. Good Lord.
Quite a time. I'm very, very passionate about the fact that everything is not a demon now.
Yeah. I love paranormal stuff, but the moment a group starts to screaming, it's a demon, it's a demon, it's a demon, I'm like, all right, y'all.
We're done.
Yeah, I'm not watching
Probably
this
not.
anymore. I had a haunted house. I lived in it for 2.5 years. And people were telling me, what you're dealing with is a demon. I'm like, no, it's not. It's a cranky old bastard. His name is Wayne. He was a real life person. He didn't like people when he was alive, and he does not like them now. He's not a demon. He's just cranky. He doesn't want me here.
Sometimes they really just don't change.
No.
Sometimes, a lot of times they don't.
Why would they be nicer in death? Well, it took me a minute to realize, too, like he died traumatically. And that usually doesn't help situations.
Yeah.
So just curious. Oh, hi, this is my baby. My black cat just came in. Hi, baby.
I used to have one. Oh, I miss him. His name was Edgar. He was the best.
Edgar. Oh, this is, I would pick her up, but she's like walking away. Maybe she'll jump up here. Her name's Mavis.
Oh,
She's such a baby. She runs this house. We're all fools for Mavis. Like, she's such a baby. I told my husband, I don't want any more animals. I don't want one more animal. And unless it's a black cat. And then the next week he found this 3-week-old black cat. And I was like, universe. The universe said, but you said black cat.
you were too specific.
I thought if I said specifically like a black cat, like,
No, you just made
I've
your
never-
manifestation stronger.
yeah, I need to watch it. I'm really good at manifesting. I didn't realize I was, but I really am. And your children. So all 3 of your children, do they all have gifts?
Different kinds. My oldest, not quite as much as the other 2. And what was super interesting, the only time in my life where I ever felt like I had no more gifts was when I was pregnant with my oldest.
Really?
Yeah, like all of a sudden, everything turned off. I couldn't hear anything. I couldn't see anything. It was gone. It was terrifying. I was so scared. Like, you would think, oh, you don't see ghosts anymore. Congrats. No, I was scared. Like, what's going on? Where did they go? Why am I alone? And interestingly, he doesn't really see anything. He doesn't really hear anything. He does dream sometimes, and he has lots of dreams about like passed on relatives and stuff, and they show up to talk to him and that sort of thing. And he's been describing something lately that makes me think that maybe he might be doing some astral travel in his sleep, which I also did at his age. So
I was going to ask if you did it.
Yeah, I think he might be getting into that. So we gotta start talking about protections for him.
Yeah.
For that. My middle child is clairvoyant. He does see, and it scares him, unfortunately. So I've been teaching him since he was little how to put up his white bubble so that he nothing can mess with him. He doesn't have to see anything if he doesn't want to. Teaching him how to turn it off if he wants to turn it off. I hate doing that because I know that once he gets older, if you turn it off too much, it's really, really hard to turn back on, and he might want to do that one day. But for now, he's just little and he's just scared. So teaching him how to block things out. He sees. He sees. And a lot of times we'll see the same thing. And I've had to teach him that, if someone shows up trying to talk to you, you just tell them, you go talk to my mommy. I'm just a kid. You go talk to mommy. And so he'll send them my way, figure out, why are you here? What's up?
Oh.
My youngest freaks me out. He's the one, like, I'm like, get out of my head, bro. Like, what is going on? Why do you know this? My youngest also, I don't know if the boy was just born with certain memories, like familial memory. I was pregnant with him when my papaw passed, and I named him after my papaw. And this child is so much like that man. And we had several experiences when he was very, very tiny that we were like, shit, like, did he reincarnate? Like, is he like, what's going on? I don't really know. I don't know how that all works, but he's very connected. He's very clairaudient, more than clairvoyant.
Mhm.
He hears a lot. And a lot of times, I'll be hearing something and he'll stop. Did you hear that? Yep. Did anyone else hear that? No, probably not. So
I'm clairaudient as well. It gets on my nerves.
it can get annoying. Just like, oh my God. Like, sometimes it feels like it's never ending.
Yeah, mine is
Quiet
not
for a
all the
minute.
time. It's like it hits hit or miss, but like it really when I'm going to sleep. Like I had an earbud in the other day, and I hadn't turned anything on yet. I was like in the process of looking for something to listen to, and I heard in that earbud, it starts with an M. You won't like him. And I was like,
Okay.
I looked at my husband. I was like, did you say something? He's like, no. And so I was like looking at my phone. I'm like, it's not on. I'm like, what do you mean it? What do you mean it starts with an M? I won't like him.
And it's always the
And then
most
the next-
random things that come through with the clairaudience. And vague, cryptic.
Yes, right. Like, could you elaborate? Can you put that in an email and send it to me, please? Like,
Claire.
what do you mean? Yeah, the clairaudient is my youngest. She is my husband's daughter, but she's mine. Doesn't look anything like me, acts a lot like me. So yeah, she is my little empath, and she's the one. When we lived in our haunted house, she's the one that saw him first.
Mm-hmm.
And I saw him later, but he presented to both of us as a shadow. That's how he would present, as a huge shadow. But he was like reaching for her. Like it scared the life out of her. It scared me at that
Yeah.
point because I'm like, at the time, I wasn't doing anything. Like I didn't know anything about anything. Like I knew I was sensitive, but I didn't know anything else. And I've never lived in a haunted house. And so it was like trial by fire
Yeah.
trying to figure this thing out. So yeah, like it's funny because our oldest is kind of like your oldest, he doesn't really feel anything, but like he is the type that he's like really interested in the paranormal,
Mhm.
but he's like, he can turn it off. He can turn it off like that. It's just like, where'd you go? My middle's the skeptic and my youngest is the believer, the empath, the feel so deep. And I have to tell her, like, you don't have to feel everything. You don't have to take everything as your own. You might feel it, but you have to learn how to turn it off.
Yep. That's hard. That comes with age, I think, and a lot of very intentional practice. But especially around puberty, dear God, like
That's where we are.
brutal. It's brutal for a few years.
That's where we are. And she's feeling everything so deeply. And I'm like, and she'll come home so upset. And I'm like, what's wrong? Well, so and so, he doesn't have any shoes. And I'm like, and I hate that. I hate that. I'm like, baby, you can't take it on.
Yeah.
You can't take that on. You can feel for him. We can try to get him help. We can try to talk to the school about getting him new shoes, but you can't carry his burden. Like you got enough going on. Ugh.
That's when we learn grounding, and that's when we learn shielding and all of the rest.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, like, how do you teach children protection? Like, how do you phrase that for them? Like, you have younger children than I do, but how do you teach your children to protect themselves? Like, how do you, it's hard enough as an adult, you know?
Yeah, but the easiest method that I started teaching my boys when they were teeny tiny was I essentially was guiding them through a meditation, basically, and have them close their eyes and take some deep breaths, and we practice our deep breaths. And I would have them imagine that they have a rope or roots or an anchor or something heavy that was going through from their feet and diving deep, deep into the earth. And that they were always super, like, you're connected to Mother Earth. And you know that Mother Earth loves you. You're a part of the earth. You're connected. You're fine. You're grounded. But then at the same time, I would guide them through imagining this warm white light kind of swirling around inside of them, and have them think about like happy things and imagining this light getting bigger and bigger and becoming like a bubble, and the bubble goes all around you, and you just protect yourself with this big bubble of light, and nothing that you don't want to come through is allowed to come through, because that's your bubble. This is your energy and your space. So little things like that, little different meditations and like grounding practices and that sort of thing have really, really helped.
That sounds simple enough that I could teach her, because she's the one that I think she has a lot of gifts that haven't all woken up. And I think they come from trauma, because we are learning as time goes on that she has experienced some trauma. And, people might be like, well, how did you not know? Well, when you are divorced and there's two separate households,
you don't know. You don't always know.
You don't know, and you cannot control what happens in other households. Sometimes you can't control what happens in your own household, but it's one of those things, like, as time goes on and she's becoming more comfortable and she's starting to open up, and it's like, so definitely trying to get her help outside of the house with counselors and stuff like that. But she has these gifts, and I recognize them, and I'm like, oh boy, like this is going to be interesting, like as she gets older. And I don't know how, because my gifts started opening up in my 30s. From 30 on, that's when mine started to really open up. Like I had stuff when I was younger, but we didn't talk about it. I really wasn't like other people that were seeing people when they were younger. I didn't see anybody like that. It was just like I could smell things, I would hear things, I would feel things. But in my 30s, it's like I'm trial by fire over here. I don't know what I'm doing. I am learning all the hard way and all the wrong ways. And I'm like, how do I help this child? Like, how do I help her? And she's very interested in it. Like, she is extremely interested in it.
I veil. I feel very, very deeply. Veiling
I wear a hat a lot.
Veiling helps me keep my energy inside, and helps me keep other people's energy on the outside. I'm very big on, and something you can teach her, observe but don't absorb.
Oh, I like that.
Observe, but don't absorb. I imagine my veil keeps it to where I can still observe everything. I can still see everything. I know what's going on around me, but I don't have to absorb all of that energy.
My mentor taught me about veiling. I wear a hat a lot. If I'm going to be around people that are energy vampires, I will wear a hat. I will, if I'm going to be out of the house and just around a bunch of people, I usually wear a hat. Some form or fashion, I always try to have something like, and sometimes I don't even think about it. I'm just like,
Yeah.
But if I know I'm going to be around somebody who is draining, then that's what she said. You keep it in.
It helps.
Oh, for sure. And I never knew that. Like I said, I didn't start learning until late 30s.
Yeah. It's interesting what you sometimes do intuitively that you find out later, like served a purpose.
Yeah. Yeah, it really is. It's like it's that intuition, and it's just like I don't know why I always did that. I just always did it, and then now it makes sense. My goodness, life is crazy. What I find about this world, the paranormal and spirituality, and I don't do a whole lot. It's learning.
Yeah.
And feeling comfortable to step out of that preconceived ideals we've been taught our whole life. And as you get older, you stop caring more and more about what other people think, and you're just like, I'm just going to be myself, because trying to be something that the world wants me to be is exhausting. But it's one of those things. I have a friend, and I won't say her name because I know she is starting to grow into her into witchcraft and being comfortable naming it and calling it that. And she's like, there is no right or wrong. You just feel it. You just feel it, and you trust it, and you feel your way through it. And I'm like, okay, I got it.
Don't worry about the rules. Most of those rules were made up by old white guys in the 70s.
Oh, well, thank you so much. I really appreciate you taking the time to come on. And I just want to let you know that I've been following you on TikTok for about a year. And the first time I saw your content, you were such a joy and a light. And just your bubbliness, and you're very direct, but not like crude, like not harsh direct, but you still direct.
Yeah.
And I appreciate that so much. And I love that. And you really are just a light in this community. And just as somebody who just follows along and watches, just thank you for the content you make, because I really do. It does
Thank
brighten
you.
my day.
That means a lot. I appreciate it.
Well, tell everybody, if they want to come and have your light in their life too, and on their phones, where can they find you?
You can find me on TikTok at That Witch Up the Holler. I do not have backup accounts. They're going to follow you. They're fake. And on Instagram at It's That Witch Up the Holler. And then you can go to the link tree in the bios to find me everywhere else.
And you do readings, and you do all that, and they can book that through you and your link tree.
Yes, only through that.
Yes, and she will not message you telling you she has a reading for you.
Oh my God, it's not me.
I've gotten one of those before in my spam account. And I was like, I don't think that's her.
No, it's not.
Well, thank you so much. Y'all go follow Savannah. And just for the people that don't know, what is a holler?
Okay, a holler is a, I guess you could kind of call it a valley, but not exactly. It's like a narrow place where you can stick some houses between two mountains, and there's usually a creek running through it. That's a holler.
There you go.
Yeah.
You can find that witch up the holler on TikTok and Instagram, and she'll never message you, but I might message you. My name is Ashley, and I'm the host of the Ghost Gossip Podcast, and you can follow me, Ghost Gossip, Ghost Gossip Pod, and Ghost Gossip Podcast, and email all your ghost gossip to ghostgossip247@gmail.com. Until next time, they'll see you later.